Hey everybody, it's Mike Young, 54 years young. Welcome and thanks for watching. I got a video the other day, and you can see from the title of this video, it deals with Lou Corona and Gillian Berry. It's actually on Gillian Berry's YouTube channel. I'm making this video so you don't have to watch it if you don't want. And who would not want to watch it? Let's get off and start talking about that right away. Someone wanting to optimize their health. And our definition of health optimization is a balanced state of health that is indicated by a lack of non-communicable disease. So we're really about health. We're not really about sticking to, I don't know, some regimen, and we don't know why. We're not about doing fake things. We believe that the natural world and eating natural, real, actual foods, things that your body recognizes as food and won't express disease, is the best way to live. And that's automatic through nature. You don't need to do anything else to kind of enhance any of that. And that's kind of what got me to want to make this video. Now, the video, it's basically about what Lou Corona eats in a day. Is on Jillian's channel. She's a raw vegan. He's a raw vegan. They say, both of them say, like a lot of raw vegans, been raw vegan for this many years. I think Lou's like 51 years, something like that. But they never say I was 100% or I was exclusively vegan for that raw vegan for that time. So most people who are raw vegan say a certain number of years, just keep that in mind. They're not saying that they were 100%. And if you all know of somebody who's kind of more well known, who's a vegan, who's a raw vegan, and has been for many, many years, and claims to be or regularly states that they've been exclusive 100%, let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you as to who it is, so I can kind of look into that a little bit more, because I'm always learning, always wanting to learn more, and yes, experience new things, but really get to a higher level, like a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of understanding, a better level of health optimization, because that's just more in balance. I mean, it's more in balance and you feel better. So of course I want to know, but I also don't want to waste time on folks that have their own agenda for various reasons. And that's why I decided to make this video. Wasn't planning on it, because this video that I'm going to comment on was sent to me, and I'll put the actual video down in the links, and not the link, just the description below, so you can check it out if you want to. It was sent to me by a friend who sent me a number of things, and this one, I don't know. I was gonna give this friend a long response through a voicemail, and instead I felt, well, I think a lot of folks can benefit from hearing my perspective on the state of the world today in terms of, I don't know, YouTubers or just people in the raw vegan space, because we're definitely in the raw vegan space, and we find there's certain things that are done by many people who are raw vegans that have dubious health benefits, if any. And that's kind of where I'm going with this. All right, so first of all, Lou seems like a really nice guy. Okay, I think is about 73 now. I'm 54, so he's almost 19 years older than me. And yeah, he looks great. And that's right away. Always what I've said about Lou is he sure looks like somebody who's had some cosmetic enhancements. All right. Right away, I thought that straight away when I started watching the video again and seeing him again. And as I've stated, if you watch the channel, I believe that as time goes on into the future, we're going to see a divide in the health span and longevity space of those who are doing things without cosmetic enhancements of any kind. I'm talking about hair color. I'm talking about hair implants. Okay, that's right away what I was thinking about with Lou. All right, yeah, there's Botox. There's all kinds of different plastic surgeries and cosmetic procedures. And right away, that's what I was thinking. Now, Jillian, I don't know. I don't know how she's I think 40, something like that. I think what I saw from watching the video. But most women are always wearing cosmetics and things, and that's a whole other subject. I mean, we'll accept that, right? I don't see there's anything wrong with that if most women are doing it. But then cosmetic procedures, like permanently changing things, coloring things permanently, and procedures, injections, all these things. First of all, I don't have any of that. Okay, I'll tell you. That's why I say there's a divide. We believe that nature, doing things naturally, doing things the right way will provide the best overall experience in life. You don't need to use this tech, whatever the latest tech is, whatever the latest pill is, you know, whatever the latest procedure is. We're not, yes, you can do that if you want, but we're coming at this from a natural perspective, and we want to show you what's possible. And that's why I'm being transparent. I want to, and yeah, my hair's thinning a little bit on the top there. Okay, I'm not going to get anything done. All right, but yeah, I could do things. I'm almost 55, and plenty of things I could do, but I don't think that's necessary. I think that the way life and nature is designed, as long as you focus on that, that should provide you with the best overall experience. Is it going to make you look the best? No, I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We're going to see as time goes on. Okay, let's keep going. Lou's a really nice guy. I like his attitude. He's very positive. He even brings, it sounds like more than spirituality. I'd say almost a religion, seems almost Christianity into what he is doing. And, I respect that. I actually don't think that there's really much of anything that in Christianity, for instance, that contradicts anything that we are trying to teach here through our educational nonprofit. So if anything, it's bolstering what we're doing because you look back into the Bible as far back as you can go, and what were folks eating in the Garden of Eden? Probably fully organic, chemical free, outdoor grown, ripe fruits. Okay, so really, there's just a big correlation there that's positive in many ways. All right, then right away they get into juicing, this lemon ginger blast thing he's big on, his thing, his stick or whatever, shtick or whatever you say, however you call that. But the fiber's gone. And I watched the process and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. Okay, look over here. Over here. Yeah, Denise and I eat like 2 to 3 pineapples every morning, sometimes four, sometimes five. It just depends on what we can get our hands on, as long as they're right. And actually, I find that that's a lot of work, but that's nowhere near as much work as what Lou's having to do with all these ingredients and processing everything. And yeah, juicing is a form of processing, just like cooking is a form of processing, which is why raw is generally better than cooked. And then, of course, there's no fiber. There's no fiber in the foods. Now, um, the problem, of course, with that is you're getting a high calorie density food, the juice, and no fiber. So that means you're going to end up eating less fiber than you would in the day. And yes, it is possible to overeat on fiber, but I don't think that I've really met anyone that's ever done that. If you know, let me know in the comments. It's kind of like a protein deficient person. They don't exist either. All right. One of the reasons that Lou brought up as a talking point was that, hey, the average fruit and vegetable doesn't have as much nutrient content as it did in the past. Oh, by the way, I'm looking at my notes over here. I took lots of notes. And so he may be right about that. So what he's saying is, well, we take the fiber out so that you get more nutrients, because otherwise you'd get a lot less if you had to eat all the fiber. I'm thinking, okay, that makes sense. But then I also think about, what about sprouts? He didn't mention sprouts. I didn't hear one single mention of sprouts in that video. And I think everybody knows that sprouts, one of the biggest benefits of sprouts is the jam-packed nutrition content in these just sprouted seeds, that are the plants of the just sprouted seeds. It has all that concentrated. So you can eat that and you're getting fiber, right? And why not just sprouts? Why the juicing? Sprouts is so much easier. I can find them at most stores, organic sprouts. And that reminds me too, that I need to eat more of those. Yeah, because I usually put them on Denise and I usually put them on our salads, and we have been, I don't know, we go through different phases, different times of the year. In the warmer months in the summer here in the United States, East Coast, more northern, we tend to not eat as much salad, and we eat more salad in the winter when we're down in Florida. But that's another story. When we eat the salad, we're getting more sprouts. That's what I'm saying that. So I'm getting less sprouts now. But again, sprouts is the solution, the sprout solution. Okay. You don't need to do what he's saying. You don't need to do all this juicing work if you just add some sprouts. And by the way, is that a supplement? No, that's just sprouts. That's another thing. We're going to get into that. All right. Again, I question whether Lou has had cosmetic work. I really question that. I'm gonna touch on that more at the end of this video because I'm kind of going through my notes, which took place chronologically in the video. All right. Yeah. Again, I mentioned that it's so much work for the juice. It's even though it's work to find ripe pineapples and cut them. They only last 2 to 3 days in the house before they spoil. It's less work in my mind than the juice, and you don't need a machine. I really don't think machines are needed. That's again my opinion, and of course my friend and neighbor Nico over at Terra Frutis and the Terra Frutis personal plots. If you want to meet him, rent La Casa Mas Alta at lacasamasalta.org. You can live in a community and meet him. Anyway, he says the best juicer is the human digestive tract. That's what he says, and I believe him. It's wonderful logic, and no, the logic of needing some mechanical contraption that breaks and requires maintenance and you have to plug it into the wall, that's kind of far from nature. Okay. That's again, you see where we're going with this. We do believe that life is designed in a certain way. And when you have to introduce all these things, it's not natural. You wouldn't find a juicer in nature. And actually, if you do find juice in nature, usually it's a fruit that hit the ground and the juice goes right into the soil and you can't get it. You ever think about that? Just think about that. All right. Lots of supplements and powders and probiotics. He talks about this after the very beginning. He starts out not talking about it. Then he starts talking about them all the time. And guess what? He sells them. He has his own company. Yes. So you see the conflict of interest here. You're starting to see he looks really good. So he's had all these cosmetic procedures. Why? Because he needs to sell his supplements, his probiotics, his powders, all these things, pills. Okay, I think some of them are pills. Or at least powders and probiotics. They're supplements. That's not natural. You won't find these things just laying around in nature. And yeah, he makes money off every sale, right? From his company. And I will mention the company once later on. I don't want to really focus on that because we don't think that any that's necessary except for maybe B12 and vitamin D if you are a hermit and don't go outdoors enough, which is okay, I guess. I'd rather you go outdoors. You don't even need to supplement with that. But B12 probably you need blood tests from your doctor. And by the way, see a board certified lifestyle medicine physician. Okay, you can get that done. All right, so let's move away from that. We'll come back to his company and his reason for this. And before I forget, I want to mention he's real gung ho. Oh, I'm happy. Thanks. Everyone deserves a great life, and they do. But he's because he wants to sell his stuff. Okay, let's keep this in mind. There's another motivation there. And then Gillian seems to be very happy. It surprised me because a lot of this stuff seemed to be new to her that Lou has been doing what he eats in a day. And or she hasn't done it herself. And I could tell when she drank some of the stuff. I'm just telling you, okay, she didn't really like it. Okay, she did not like it. But then she says, "Oh, this is the best ever. This is the best ever. I'm going to be doing this from now on. From now on." Now, why? Because she knows that he's got a following. And as long as she praises him, he will come back on her show and more people will watch the video. So if you're sensing the conflict of interest, don't go watch the video. Okay, like I said, I'll put the link down there if you can't believe what I'm saying here and you want to see it for yourself. But aside of that, I have a hard time promoting any of the stuff and I don't want to promote it. And that's why I want to make this video. I want to give you a reasoned explanation as to why we don't promote this stuff. All right, then Lou talks about water. And I thought right away, at first I'm a little concerned because he's talking about all this processed water. Oh, alkalinized and alkaline is a theme with them in the beginning of this video. Talk about alkaline this, alkaline that. Yes, that's what no disease can survive or thrive in an alkaline environment. I'm like, yes, okay, great. Then you talk about water, and then he's talking about this whole process of creating alkaline water. And we're not really about that, okay? Because when you start regular water in nature, aka continuous flowing spring water, is probably the best you can do, in our opinion. Then when humans get it and they try to run through pipes, they put all those chemicals in it and ruin it. And then when we try to fix things that are polluted by processing, yes, processing the water, okay, that creates other problems because there's a balance there with nature's water. And yes, you should mostly eat your water. I agree with that. Okay, so keep that in mind. You shouldn't be drinking much water at all. And it's kind of weird because he's juicing all this stuff and then he's cutting it with water. He says, because obviously there must be something horrific about the taste or the impact in your mouth that you have to water down the juice, which is already watered down because the fiber is removed. It's kind of strange. So he's talking about all this different processing at certain levels, and he recommends a certain thing. But then he also says, yeah, I used to do spring water, flowing spring water. I'm like, yeah, all right. But he's like, well, it takes a little too much time. I'm like, well, he didn't even talk about eating your water so much. That's what you don't even need to be. You don't really need. If you're doing things the best you can, you don't really need to be doing this water. And yes, the water in anything, including cooking. Okay, this is the big thing with cooked food. A lot of people are putting any old water in there. That's another reason why raw foods are generally better than cooked foods. But if you're taking raw foods and juices and adding water into them, you're getting some of the worst parts of cooked food in raw food, in my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. So I'm glad that Lou acknowledges that flowing spring water, natural, continuous flowing spring water from a source of known quality is the best you can do. That's what Denise and I do. We've been doing that for the last year and a half now, and I plan on continuing it. I think it's awesome. I never realized that it can make such a difference. I don't drink much water at all, but the things that I do cook and add water to are better than ever. And our plants love it too. I'm watering them at Mountain Ridge Farm over there in Highland County, Virginia, with this natural flowing spring water. And they get rainwater and they get natural flowing spring water that we bring over in glass bottles. All right, then he talks about coconut. Starts bringing coconut. He said coconut yogurt, coconut ferment, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, coconut. I mean, I've done videos on coconut. Coconut is the worst nut. Okay. Now, nut seeds and avocados are all health compromising because of the high percentage of calories from fat. Yes, they're better than oil, which is 100% calories from fat. All oils are 100% calories from fat. But nut seeds and avocados are their own little animal, and you have to be very, very careful with them. And so he's picking out the worst nut. Now, why is coconut the worst nut? It's because of the saturated fat content. It very much mimics animal products in that regard. One of the things that is very bad about animal products is, yes, the high fat, but also, yes, the fact that they all have pretty much all saturated fat. And coconut is the one plant that kind of mimics that well. So if you like some kind of a fake plant-based or vegan product like fake cheese or ice cream or whatnot, you'll find that what you really like is the stuff that has coconut oil in it, actually, usually, because coconut oil also has a saturated fat in it. But coconut meat, they call it coconut meat. Even the vegans call it meat. It's kind of strange to me that people use that term, but he's using that. He's creating coconut yogurts. He's not talking about the saturated fat. He's not talking about how high percentage of calories from fat causes metabolic diseases. He's got this routine. He's been doing it forever. He looks good, so everyone's just not questioning. Jillian's not questioning. She just wants him to come back. Come on back, Lou. Come on back. And then Lou looks great because he's going through every procedure known to humans to make him look good. Okay, including his shirt, which I thought was strange because his shirt was cut in a way where I couldn't see his waist. Like usually guys will get a V shape, right? If they are really trim and don't have that belly fat, that visceral fat. I couldn't tell on him, but my guess is he's got something down there. That's why he purposely dressed that way. I didn't even have that in my notes, but I just remembered that. Left an impression on me, which is not a good impression because I'm tired. Truly, the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm tired of shirts. Every shirt you buy, it seems like, unless you really go out of the way and look for something that's like a slim fit or something like that, which has a narrower waist for someone that's not overweight, which is hard to find because almost nobody buys the stuff anymore because they don't fit. I could be pregnant and you wouldn't even know. That's how I would describe it. And Lou is wearing the same kind of clothes. I'm moving away from those. And everything I've asked Denise to buy, she's the clothes person. She knows all about fashion, is all like a slim fit. And if I was pregnant, there would be a major problem. I couldn't even put the shirt on, if that makes sense. Because most shirts that are out there, you could be pregnant, you could still wear it. I know guys don't get pregnant, but you understand what I'm saying, okay? I was tired of stuff that doesn't fit right. The baggy look is not flattering. Yeah, I know his shirt was like, my shirt probably has more wrinkles. His had no wrinkles. So it distracted you. You didn't look at his shirt. It was just there. But I'm just telling you, all this is done intentionally. Okay, just think about all this stuff. Okay, Paradigm, that's his company. I'm only going to say it that one time. I would never buy anything from them or any supplement company. Okay, and I think Life Essentials is another thing spelled differently that one of his products in particular he kept harping on. Okay, sounds like a cool name, I guess, but it's not natural. It's a supplement. It's very similar to taking pharmaceuticals, in my opinion. If you're taking it for a specific reason, it's almost like you're managing something with this human manufactured product. And that I don't like that vibe, if that makes sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, another thing is the add salt. If you watch our channel long enough, you know like the certified healthy vegan food here behind me. Learn more at healthyveganfood.info. The only way it can be certified is if you don't add any salt, because there's already salt available in all plants. There's sodium in all plants, just like there's protein in all plants. You're going to get your sodium, you're going to get your protein. You don't need to supplement. And actually, as time goes on, more research happens, people are starting to recognize the benefits of very low sodium diets, very low protein diets as well. Yeah, you're not going to be a bodybuilder or a marathon plus runner with a diet like that, but who do you know that does that? What percentage of your friends do that? Okay. And anyway, that stuff is not conducive to health span and longevity anyway. We want to have fun. We want to live. We don't want to have to run a marathon plus, yeah, or look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay. And we don't expect we're going to do that. Okay. We're talking about the average Joe, the average Jane. And yeah, if you're somebody who wants to go into extreme sports, you don't mind cutting your life short and the quality of your life, cutting that down as well, then that's a different story. That's up to you. Yeah, it's your choice. All right, so mushrooms. He says no mushrooms. He considers them not a food. I thought that was interesting. I tend to agree with that, although I think a little bit here and there is okay. I wouldn't make a diet centered around eating mushrooms. No algae. It's another one. Now, anything from the sea, including sea vegetables, which he says are okay, I would not want to eat just because of the pollutants in there, the super high sodium content. He says that the thought behind the no algae is that algae is a cleaner and it cleans up all the toxins in the waters and holds on to them, and you can't get them out. And you end up eating all of those toxins when you eat the algae. So that makes sense. I wouldn't eat that anyway. All right, then like the second half of the video starts talking about amino acids all the time. The first half of the video, or the first third of it, maybe really, again, it focused on alkaline environment in the body. And he's talking about amino acids. Yeah, they're protein, building blocks of protein, but it's an acidic environment. It's contrary to the alkaline environment. The more amino acids you consume, the less alkaline your internal body is going to be. Now, they didn't mention that at all, but I'm mentioning that to you. It's one of the reasons why you don't want to take protein supplements or anything that has amino acids as a supplement, because you're probably going to create too much of an acidic environment in your body. And I think we all know what that means. I know that not a lot of people talk about this aspect, about how protein's an amino acid, it's acidic, and it's contrary to the alkaline recommendation, but it is. Of course, they didn't talk about it. Of course, Gillian kept saying how great this is. Of course, Lou just sits in there smiling and looking like I don't even know. He doesn't look real, if you ask me, okay? Because nobody over 70 looks like that without a lot of cosmetic procedures, a lot of cosmetic work. Okay, that's the thing. Anyway, I know I'm saying that again. All right, then he talks about pre-digested fermented foods. Fermentation is a long process. Okay, that's a lot of work. Is it required? I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, have humans done that through the course of evolution? Yes, because there was a number of things going on, like no reliable transportation, no shelter maybe available to them, no refrigeration or freezing available to them, and that's what kept them alive. I will give you that. Is it required? I don't think so. They're really focusing on that. Again, the natural whole foods that are ripe, fresh. The shorter the shelf life, the longer your life. Now, how does that involve with fermented foods? It's actually the opposite, because fermented foods will tend to last for a while, right? Long shelf life. It's almost like a processed food, which it is. It goes through a process. So I don't think that's conducive to health span and longevity. That's my opinion. I know that a lot more work, a lot more research needs to go into that, so we can determine definitively about that. But again, the rule: the longer the shelf life, the shorter your life. That's what I would say for fermented foods. Okay, then we're getting towards the end here. Almost done with my analysis. Towards the end of the video, right at the end, actually, Gillian mentioned Botox and she kind of hinted at rumors that, hey, Lou, people think you're using Botox, but Look at him. I don't think so. And then he's just sitting there smiling. Didn't say a word. Didn't say one word. Okay. And he could have right then and there put it to rest and said, Jillian, yeah, these folks, they don't know what they're talking about. I have never had cosmetic procedures. I don't do that. I definitely don't do Botox. He could have said that, but instead he remained completely silent. It's like pleading the fifth. Okay. Let me know what you think in the comments there. Okay. He should have said something there. And I think that in my mind, it just ruins her credibility. It ruins his credibility. Okay. Because if you're going to go through and you got all kinds of money because you've been successful and you can afford all kinds of cosmetic work, cosmetic procedures, cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, all kinds of hair implants, because I didn't see any thinning hair on that guy's head. And I have thinning hair. Okay. And I actually, I do look better than the average 54-year-old. Most people think I'm in my 30s. Okay. A lot of that I think is epigenetics from doing the right thing over an extended period of time. But I will tell you, I haven't had any procedures. I'm not going to have any procedures. And yeah, am I going to eventually lose a lot of my hair, which I already have started losing quite a bit? Probably. But that's okay because that's how aging naturally takes place. I'm not going to live forever. Why? What's the point of me looking like I'm 30 when I am, I don't know, if you have a funeral where you see the body there at the end, 110 and I died or something. I don't know. Obviously it works for selling supplements. Okay. Obviously it works for saying, oh my gosh, this guy's over 70. Look at him. Attract attention, attract viewers. I'm going to have this guy on my YouTube channel. I'm going to say how great all his food is. I'm going to do it. I don't see how she's going to do all this stuff. I mean, the one thing I respect about the raw movement is for the most part, you're eating whole foods, many fruits that are super ripe in a ripe state, which most people don't hardly ever get to experience. And that promotes health. That provides life. The living foods, like I said, they did say living foods, but so many of the foods that Lou brought up and the supplements and things, those are dead. Okay. And the cosmetic procedures, also dead, not living. So you can't, I don't think you can intermingle these things or commingle them. It doesn't play out well, in my opinion. Again, let you know, please let me know your opinion here in the comments. All right. And then last thing, I've already said this before, but she ended with it too. She said, Jillian said she's now going to eat like this all the time. And it's the best food, like the best raw vegan food she's ever experienced. And I'm like, she's obviously lying. Like if I had everything wrong in my analysis up to this point in that video presentation, I'm telling you, there was no way she was telling the truth. She looked like she was lying. If you watch the video, let me know what you think. But again, I guess I could do whatever it takes to get as many views as possible on this YouTube channel through our organization, but we're not going to do that. We're about the truth. And the truth isn't usually popular, unfortunately. That's just the kind of the world that we live in. People want to see the shiniest, newest thing, the most beautiful looking 73-year-old like Lou Corona, okay? A friendly guy, nice guy. But we're not about cosmetics. We're not about looks. If we were, we wouldn't be focusing on real living natural foods in their actual natural states and that promoting a great life, which everyone deserves, like Lou says, but you have to do it right. You have to surround yourself with these actual foods which have a very short shelf life, again, maybe 2 to 3 days for something that's ripe, very short shelf life. And that provides the life. And again, those sprouts, why didn't they mention sprouts? Why didn't they mention sprouts one single time in that video? What's with all the juicing? Why do you need to do that when you can just eat sprouts? Okay. And the sprouts of all kinds available. You can sprout your own, whatever you want. All the foods they mentioned, you can eat in sprout form, super nutritionally concentrated form with fiber as well. So that's what we believe in. We believe that nature has us figured out. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to manufacture things in factories. Like a lot of the stuff Lou talked about, um, it's not a plant. It was made in a plant. That's something that Jillian obviously didn't want to recognize in the video. That a lot of these things were made in a plant. So yeah, I guess technically it's raw because it's never brought above a certain degree, but it's dead. It's not living, and it was manufactured in a plant. Okay, if animals would animals ever find these things on their own in nature in those forms? No, because they're not gonna. Animals generally aren't intelligent enough to learn how to engineer a plant. So it's basically an engineered processed food, right? And again, there's a lot of this, I guess, in the raw movement. Engineered processed things, unnatural foods. Let me know what you think in the comments. I thank you so much for watching this far. And yeah, I would love to read your comments, love to learn, love to do better. And I'd love to hear if you think, because the theme here is, are these concepts too far from nature? And yeah, what are we basing health span and longevity on? Are we basing it on somebody's looks? Or are we basing it on the fact that they don't ever get sick? They can do whatever they want. And again, looks in this video, I didn't see lose waist. I'm a little bit concerned. Again, I think everything has been staged to make him look as good as possible. We want, as an organization, to convey the truth, to be transparent in the way that things are. And I've made videos about this before. Like if I really got sick, a lot of people in this movement, they hide when they get sick. They don't admit. I'd love to see his medical records. Okay. I'd love to see everybody's. I could show you mine, no problem. Okay. People in this movement, they don't do what they say they're doing, for one thing. And maybe Lou is doing what he says he's doing. And maybe Jillian is too. But do they actually get sick? That's the question. And do they undergo these cosmetic procedures? These are deep, deep questions here that I'm asking that are very important. And I think that we're going to be talking about them more as time goes on. So I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.